let's talk about the ending to Zack Snyders trilogy of DC films, Justice League. Don't tell me it's not a Snyder film. It is a Snyder film. It says it in the credits, a Zack Snyder film.
The end of Zack Snyders trilogy without Zack Snyder involved.
No, it's a Zack Snyder. It says he wrote the screenplay and he directed it. It's a Zack Snyder film. This is how he intended it to end. So, I tell you what, even though it's not a good film, it was a good palate cleanser to be ready for Zack Snyder's film. You know, it just warmed up my taste buds, ready to go. Ooh, what's to come next?
Oh God.
So I'm gonna say some. You know, okay. I want to make it clear, it's not a good film. I don't like the film. It's worse than the previous two, but it's not all bad, and there are things I like in this.
I will echo that.
Yeah, and I also think Joss Whedon, terrible bloke, terrible man. He gets a hard time for this. I don't think this is his fault. What this film is, I think what happened. The reason this film is like it is purely financial. If Batman vs Superman made, $1 billion, they would have just made Zack Snyders Justice League. Now, I'm not saying Batman vs Superman's a flop, but it underperformed. I think it made like 800 million, which is not good for two of the biggest characters. You look at like the Transformers films. They're crap. They are awful, but they never changed because they made $1 billion every time. Yeah. And if Batman vs Superman did that, it would have done this. And I don't blame Joss Whedon for this because there are Whedon-esque elements in it, but it doesn't feel like anyone's vision. It's very much a Frankenstein film. It's it's just bland. It's just blur. It's just nothing. And Batman vs Superman, although I say it is a bad film, I do kind of like it because at least it's a vision and you can dissect it and talk about it. This is just it is just nothing. That's why I don't really blame Whedon. I think Warner Brothers just went, here's $10 million to do the reshoots, but do them like this, please. And he's gone, okay, fine, I'll do them like that. I'm going to talk about some things I like, and you can tell me if you like these scenes or not. These are the parts I do genuinely kind of like in this. I like Wonder Woman's fight scene in London, when there's the guy with the bomb. And she takes out the room, and then the guy's like, I've got 4 bombs, and she just gets 1 bomb, and they don't really talk about the other 3. But whatever, I'll move past it.
Yep.
I like when Superman fights everyone, fights all the Justice League.
So do I. Yep. That's
a good scene. Although the colouring looks awful, and rewatching this, I didn't realise when they obviously forgot to recolour it all. Yeah. Because at the start of the scene, when they go into the ship to resurrect Superman, it's dark. It's black as night. Then when they leave the ship to go fight him, it's basically daytime. Yeah. Because but I remember in the trailer when they showed that fight, because that's obviously Zack Snyder, what he made. It was dark. It was dark as anything. So they obviously recolored it, turned up the color grading, made it all light, and it does look awful. It looks like some of the characters look fake and rubbery, but I like the scene. And my favorite part is when he headbutts Wonder Woman, and I like it because it's funny. But that is very funny. I like Batman's line to the Flash, and he says, I'm rich. That's a fun little line. Yeah. That's a fun little line. This is my favourite part of the film. When Wonder Woman punches Batman. Okay. When Batman's like, yeah, what about your dead boyfriend, hey? And then she just hits him. He's like, Jesus Christ. And I like Superman beating up Steppenwolf. I know. Yeah,
that's cool. It's cool.
I know it just undermines the reason of having the Justice League, but I like the scene. So leave me alone.
I actually wrote down about Batman, and it really frustrates me actually because, like, apart from bringing the team together, like, he doesn't really do anything. Like, no, he doesn't really have any importance, like, to this film.
So, go on. No, I was gonna say it's funny when they fight Superman. So they all go off to fight Superman, and then Batman's just behind them all, like running across the green, like panting along, and then just sort of standing there, and then he obviously gets beaten the shit out of by Superman.
Well, he did exactly the same thing in fucking BVS. He's just like hiding everywhere, isn't he? Like,
yeah, he's clearly lost his mind as well, is what I would say, because all of a sudden now he loves Superman and he thinks he's the greatest thing ever, despite a month ago, he tried to stab him with a spear and tried to kill him in a very brutal manner. He threw a sink over the man's head. And a month later, he's like, oh my God, he was the reason everything was so great. I mean,
very quick turnaround. Very, very quick turnaround.
Yeah. And do you know what? I don't blame that on Whedon. I don't think that's reshoots. I do think that was Snyder's idea, because by the end of BVS, he does like him. But he has lost his mind. He's not right.
Which is quite annoying, isn't it? Because in BVS, I feel like there was a little bit of complexity to his character. I really liked Bruce, like going into this new psyche of Bruce Wayne, and in this, we get nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And Ben Affleck, he is bad in this. Yeah. He is very bad. And he doesn't look great. He looks bloated. He doesn't look muscular. And I know he was dealing with alcoholism. I don't want to, have a go at him for all that. It was all because obviously he came back for the reshoots and he's all bloated and puffy. The thing that upsets me the most, like, I can accept that, he had his own problems, but it's the wig. The wig changes scene to scene, and it's so upsetting. He's in when he goes to meet Aquaman, and then it cuts between like Aquaman talking to Ben Affleck, and the wig, the hairline's changed completely. Ben Affleck is really half-arsed in it. You can tell he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, is that because of the reshoots, or because, remember when Batman vs Superman came out, there was that sad Ben Affleck meme when they were talking about how the film had got bad reviews, and it was always constant speculation that he wasn't happy with the film and he wanted to move away because, he just got his career back and now he'd been in something that wasn't, sort of universally loved, and there was always talk that he was stepping away, and obviously eventually he did.
Yeah.
I hate Batman in this. And this is where I do blame Joss Whedon. He's cracking too many jokes.
Yep.
Like, there's like the part where Superman's like, "Oh, I didn't think you did it because you like me," and he's like, "I don't not like you. It's so annoying."
He weren't cracking no jokes in BVS, awful. Man.
Yeah.
The one joke in BVS was literally, I thought she was with you. That was it.
Yeah. What's the other one to rate? Oh yeah, something's definitely bleeding. It's just like, that's not what Batman should be doing. I like that.
And even if that's not Batman, that's not the Batman that you showed us in the other film. Yeah.
He's fucking branding people. Where now he's
thinks he's a fucking comedian. Yeah. This
film looks atrocious.
It does.
One of the worst looking films I've ever seen, and it cost $300 million. Jeez. It's one of the most expensive films ever made. I think it's second. I mean, it just everything looks awful. Like, even like fight scenes are shot, and it just looks terrible. Like in Batman vs Superman, everything was so deliberate. You got the best angles of the characters. It's like, this is why it is, because financial reasons, and they went, let's make it look like a Marvel film. Let's turn the color grading up, and just get everything looking bright and colourful. And it's just a visual nightmare, because the thing is, it wasn't shot like that. It wasn't shot to look like that. And when you turn up the colouring, everything then looks wrong. And I think one of the biggest things that looks awful is Batman's suit. And I love that suit in BVS. But in this, it looks weird and fake and rubbery, like it didn't in the previous one, because it just doesn't hold up to that lighting.
No, I completely agree. I completely agree with that, yeah. It's annoying, isn't it? It's like, you get a director in like this to come in and do this sort of like, take over the reins, but because he's under such strict instructions from the studio, it doesn't allow the director to put his own stamp on it. And I think that's what's obviously made a massive negative impact on this movie. It just doesn't look right at all, does it, No,
like all the scenes in Russia in the final battle, and there's all this colourful weeds coming out of the ground, and it just looks so fake. All the backgrounds look awful because they've turned up the colour grading. There's a scene when Batman's talking to Aquaman, and Aquaman's standing in the sea, and the mountains behind him, it just looks like someone's just painted it. It looks awful. I think a key scene that exemplifies this all is the opening with Batman.
Yeah.
When he first meets a parademon. Yeah. And they're standing on this rooftop, and it's so obviously a set. Like, nothing looks real about what they're standing on. Just looks cheap plastic and cardboard. And the background it's supposed to be night, but it's bright as day, and
Yeah.
all the buildings around them, the background buildings, just they look CGI and fake. And then the parademon takes him up in the air, flies him around the city. Where do they end up? Oh, back on the rooftop, because obviously that was the set. So to save time, they've gone, well, we can't make another set or a CGI background. So he has to come back to this spot, and it's like it just looks wrong.
I'll tell you what, that upsets me so much, right? Because Gotham City isn't just any city; it is a character in its own way.
Yeah, it's
Do
a
you know what I
character
mean?
itself. Yeah,
Exactly. It adds to the whole idea of Batman, and in that first scene, it just made me understood that the people in control of this, they don't get it. They don't get the character. They don't get the city. They just don't get it. And it's like we were saying already, just a mishmash of just everything, just like together. Like, yeah.
God damn it! Yeah, talking of atrocious things, I've wrote 2 lines on Steppenwolf. This is what I wrote.
Very
not
shit.
much to. Yeah, basically, not much to say. Then he looks terrible. His plan is so generic. He has no good parts in it, and I hate him. So.
Fair enough.
There we go.
That's pretty much exactly what I've written down as well.
There's just nothing. There's nothing to add about Steppenwolf. Yeah, he looks fucking shocking. Like they put so many zooms on in his face, and it's just all glossy. There's no texture to it. You know, you look at Thanos, and when he talks, when someone talks, your whole face moves. You know, little wrinkles happen in your face, and he's just like everyone says, he's a PlayStation 2 cutscene character, and fuck him.
I miss Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos just looks fantastic. Do you want to talk about Superman?
Yeah, I really like Superman. That's actually a positive. I really enjoy Superman.
You know what? Yeah, I put Superman. It's kind of good in this film.
He is. He's really. He's what Superman is. At the end, when he comes in and fucks shit up, it's great. When he beats the shit out of Steppenwolf, it's excellent. Like you said earlier, kind of defeats the point of having a Justice League film, but we'll forget about that.
By that point, the film was going so bad. I'm like, I don't even care. Like, I don't care. Just fuck it. When Superman turned up, and I appreciated, he basically beat the shit out of Steppenwolf, pulled the boxes apart, and the film was over. I was like, thank God, Superman's me. He just wants this film done.
Yeah,
and
literally.
so I appreciate that. He helped me out there. He was like, good. He was like, come on, lads, let's just wrap this up.
Do you remember what we were like when we came out of the cinema? Because we watched this together, didn't we, when this came out?
We watched this together, and do you know what? We came out the cinema, and we were both...
Yeah,
like,
we were like,
was okay.
It wasn't that bad. Like, yeah.
Yeah, we were just like... I seen Jerome, we came out and said, it didn't make much sense why Batman loves Superman, and Superman was like suddenly really nice, but it was alright. Like, I guess it was a step in the right direction. Because I think at the time, you kind of knew what they were going for, because it was all getting too dark and gritty with Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. They did have to lighten things up, and I know some people don't think that, but they did. You can make it dark and gritty, but it was a bit OTT.
Yeah.
Because you're making a dark and gritty and real film, but then you've got a big baby-looking monster jumping around the city. You know, it doesn't mesh.
Yep.
If you're gonna add in these supernatural ideas, you can't be too dark and gritty with it.
No.
So yeah, but then as I've then thought about more in time, I realised what idiots we both were coming out of that cinema because this film is bad.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, but you know, it is when you sit down and you really think about it. What was good, what was bad, and I think this is what I would say about Justice League. It is not as bad as everyone says it is. I think it gets an unfair kicking because it wasn't a continuation of the previous 2 films. And I think if you take this film on its own, if they just went, here's Justice League, you would be like, okay, all right, that's Justice League. It wasn't the greatest, bit generic, but it was okay. It wasted 2 hours. This sounds bad, but it's a turn your brain off kind of film.
Yeah.
That you can just put on the background. And,
don't think too much about it and just let it be.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff story-wise which pisses me off with this film, though. Like, I know we've spoken about this a million times before, but like, obviously the film is extremely convoluted. There's so much shit going on. Like, it baffles me every time because we spoke about this. We actually did a podcast on Justice League about at the very, very beginning when we started doing the podcasts. And I couldn't believe that Aquaman came out after this movie.
That's the thing. Like, you think. So before this, Wonder Woman came out, which crushed it. Then this flopped hard.
Yeah.
Then out came Aquaman. That made like over $1 billion. So it's. I think it very much shows that there are fans of the Snyder Cut, and they were not interested in seeing this film that didn't continue that. But it is surprising. Yes, Aquaman came out, and now directors saying, "Oh yeah, Aquaman was made with considering Zack Snyders Justice League as canon." And I'm like, "Oh, shut up! No, it wasn't. Don't go back on all this."
Who said that? James Wan.
James Wan.
Yeah.
And James Wan, after Batman vs Superman, said, "Yeah, my Aquaman film's going to be a bit more light-hearted. Like, way to distance yourself, mate." And now it's all going well. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, that was the film I took into consideration." It's like, oh, fuck off! No, you didn't. Like, that Aquaman has nothing to do with Justice League.
No, of course not.
In no way ever.
No.
They distanced themselves. They went, "We'll just make an Aquaman." Should we talk a little bit about Aquaman in this film?
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Yeah, he's not that interesting.
He annoys the fuck
I like
out
he
of me.
litters in the ocean. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, he throws a bottle in the ocean. I'm like, you live there, you dick.
I don't get it. I know a lot of people like his take on Aquaman, but I don't like it. And like you said, that whole thing of him throwing a bottle in the ocean, it's like he's doing like a commercial for like Jack Daniels. It doesn't seem like a fucking film, does it? Like, it's not right.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just like...
So you target to fish. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You were branding people. Like, now you're a fucking joker. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
The flashiness. I wrote, he walks the line of being funny and incredibly annoying and steps over it completely to be annoying. When I looked at just a quick summary of reviews of this film, they're like, film's bad, but Ezra Miller and Gal Gadot, they're all right. And I would say they're both probably the worst in this film.
Well, I've written down here, don't like Ezra Miller's take on this, on the character.
Yeah.
At all.
I feel like a lot of his stuff was rewritten as well.
Yeah.
There's like stuff like talking about brunch. He's like, what is brunch? You stand in line for an hour. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's not even topical. It's not even a topical thing to talk about. And then he's like, oh, look, the bat signal, because you're Batman. And I'm like, oh, I get it, because if I was standing with Bruce Wayne, that's how I would react. He's my in. He's the guy I'm supposed to relate to. Oh, fuck that guy.
He really, really, really should have had a solo film before this. There's so much shit, which... He's a great age, for instance. He's a good... He would have been a great character to actually, like, wield a trilogy of movies with. Like, considering they only made, like, 2 films before this as well. Like, it's just pointless. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, I've written down, great age, good actor, could have been a real turning point for the DC, but they fucked it and threw him into this film, and it didn't work at all.
Cyborg, he's barely in it, but I think when he is, he's quite good. He's all right, but he just has nothing to do. There's like a subplot where Aquaman's like, is this guy a bad guy? And Cyborg's like, maybe I'm a bad guy. He's not. He's just not a bad guy, and that's completely abandoned.
What was the point of him?
I know. When it started, it was like, he's dealing with being the monster, and, who even is he? And then he just helps, and that's kind of it.
He just wears a hoodie all the time and just looks threatening without being threatening. You know what I mean?
It's all it's like dealing with like his humanity, and like at the start of it, I was like, yeah, that's kind of what they're going for. Like, is he even a human anymore? And then they just kind of...
That's one thing I think we're going to get a lot of in Snyder's. I think we're going to get a lot more Cyborg.
Yeah, he says he's the heart of the film, isn't he? He's the heart, and this is fuck this film, man. Fuck this film.
So, the more you talk about it, the more it pisses you off.
Yeah, I'm getting really angry now.
I am as well.
Have I got any more notes on this? No.
Everything I've written down is all in like big bold letters with exclamation marks following it, or like underlining and shit like that. Like,
and that's like what annoys me. They're like go in and they got the plan. And what's Batman's plan? Oh, I'll just do it all myself. No, you spent 2 hours assembling the team, and then you're like, no, you all wait here. I'm gonna go saw. I'm like,
Oh god, fuck me. I really hope that Snyder's film is better than this shit.
Oh, it has to be. It has to be, surely. It has to be better.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it on Thursday afternoon as well. I'm quite...
Yeah.
It better not be a waste of an afternoon, please, God. I booked the afternoon off work for this. Please don't do... Yeah.
Where do you stand on the post-credit scenes? There's 2 of them.
What were they? I can't even remember.
I like one of them.
Go on.
There's... Actually, I should have added that to my list. Where Superman and Flash have a race.
Oh, yeah,
that's
of
a
course.
fun little
Yeah,
scene.
that's fine.
That's a fun little thing.
That is what it is. That's fine. Yeah.
That's a Marvel... That's like a Marvel scene.
Yeah.
You have a little fun, cute one. You know, and I like the fun, cute ones. And then you have one that sets up the new film. And it's where Lex Luthor is on his boat.
Yeah.
He's in his suit. He's now Gene Hackman Lex. I don't understand why he's changed his style from, you know, a t-shirt and blazer to a full suit. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And he gets old Deathstroke up and he says...
Manganiello.
Shouldn't we have... He says, shouldn't we have a league of our own? And do you know what I thought? What, like the baseball film that Tom Hanks was in? That's so weird, that line. I'm like, who wrote that? Who wrote that and thought that was a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea is cool, though. The idea is cool. That is quite a cool thing, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like...
Yeah, I don't actually, Jar. I don't mind that post-credit.
No, I don't. I don't mind either of them. Yeah.
I don't mind either of them.
Where are they? In fucking like Monaco or something?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, shouldn't people be out looking for him?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I want to know what happened.
That's a reshoot, isn't it?
Oh, is Jesse Eisenberg in the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, there's wasn't one of the trailers with his narration?
Can't even remember.
They said he was going to be in it, and then he was only ever in a post-credit. I think he'll have a scene or 2. I reckon he will.
Oh, the Red Cape's coming.
Yeah. What the fuck was that? Oh, well,
what was that even about? The Red Capes are coming, and then it never ever gets mentioned again. The bell has been rung. It's so funny.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
He's got like snot coming from his nostrils.
Ding, 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 ding. Jesus Christ, man. God,
so yeah, I guess that's Justice League. This film's one big wet fart.